Thank you for joining us for our second annual Diversity Celebration for the Office of Community Engagement and Diversity Initiatives, or CDI. My name is Pao Vu, Director for the Office of CDI. It's unfortunate that we couldn't be together this year for this event, but we wanted to take this opportunity to demonstrate how, despite social distancing, we remain committed to doing the important work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm especially proud that members of our NSC and broader community have come together to deliver this program. We are bold, we are great, we are state. Before we continue with this program, we'd like to read an important land acknowledgement statement.
As we gather here today, we would like to acknowledge, honor, reflect, and celebrate the land and resources we are using to sustain ourselves at Nevada State College. We are upon sacred ancestral land of the Southern Paiute, Hualapai, and Chemehuevi people who continue to live and thrive all around Southern Nevada. We appreciate how your culture and traditions continue to enrich our community.
Thank you, Kimberly Florence, for reading our land acknowledgement statement. We now turn to the voices of Nevada State and community members. We hope to educate campus about the ways diverse communities have been impacted this past year, how we persevered, and how we've come together during this difficult time.
What has this year been like for us as Black faculty, staff, and students at Nevada State College? And what has this year been like for us as Black people, not only in America, but also across the diaspora? It took a while to think about ways to respond to this. I had to talk to several faculty, to several staff, and to several students. Some of the things that have been challenges for us this year have just been seeing those who we care for passing away. The reality is we have been disproportionately impacted by COVID, but there are other variables as well. The cultural and political climate of the country in many ways has also caused fear, has caused anxiety, has caused us to clench our children as they walk out of the house. Yet at the same time, when we think about this political climate in the United States, it's also been a time of revival, of consciousness for our people, a revival and reminder of the strength that we've carried from those who came before us. For students, it's also been a time of financial struggle. Many of our students have 2, 3, or 4 jobs while also maintaining families. Yet at the same time, we constantly remind students that the fact that they are still in school during this time shows that they have drive, shows that they have perseverance, and shows that they have grit. We do not want to be victimized or have a narrative of victimization, because we as a people have a history of overcoming. We as a people have a history of celebrating the strength that we carry in our families. So in this month of diversity, I say, let's continue to celebrate our strength. Let's continue to celebrate the legacy that has taken us all to this specific moment in time. So happy Martin Luther King Day, Ashe.
Hello, this is Zara Gayrama Burines. I'm one of the assistant professors of School of Nursing and the chair for AAPI subcommittee.
Since the pandemic, AAPIs have faced an increased level of anti-Asian discrimination and violence across the nation. And I am aware of numerous incidents that have occurred in the Las Vegas area, including how members of our very own NSC community have experienced these incidents of hate. Because of these incidents of violence, I haven't felt safe in allowing my children to leave the house without me, and we minimize times in which we leave the house, not just to ensure social distancing and to avoid the possibility of contracting the COVID-19 virus, but also because I fear for my family's physical safety. I know that members of our NSC community are impacted in similar ways. I stand with
I just
them.
would like to tell my story. So I went to one of the department store here in Las Vegas. I was looking for a portable heater, and I finally, got one nice one. That's really what I want. So while I was reading the details, like how many watts were there, how much was it, how am I gonna go do this. So the details of the product, it took me like 2 to 3 minutes while reading it into the detail. So there was somebody next to me. I did not notice that there was a guy next to me who got into my face and snubbed the product. And I said, I'm reading it right now. And then he said, well, you did not take it yet. So this is not yours yet. I know, I understand that, but I'm reading it right now so I could take it with me. And he did not agree. She did not agree because the wife was there as well. And then they just said, well, that's already mine. And I was really hurt. And there was a sales lady in front of us. The sales lady saw me that I was already there, before the guy came in, but say nothing, did not say anything. She was from the store, she saw me and she saw everything, did not do anything about it. So I was hurt and I don't want to fight. I know I'm a professional being. I don't want to be seen in public arguing with people. So I just left and I was sad and I was not happy about it. So I hope it will not happen again.
Hi, my name is Amy Matsumura McAfee, and I'm a Nevada State student and member of the AAPI subcommittee. I identify as mixed race. I'm Japanese and Caucasian. In this time of the pandemic, we're all struggling, but communities of color are more affected. We want you to know that we stand together in solidarity to celebrate our multiculturalism and demonstrate we are all in this together. We are all equal in our shared humanity.
Our shared humanity is not dependent upon the color of our skin. More than ever, we need to start truly appreciating each other so that deep connections can be built across cultural divides.
Hello everyone, my name is Margie and I'm a Senior Academic Advisor at NSC. I identify as American Pacific Islander and I am a member of the Asian American Pacific Islander AAPI subcommittee. I am aware that our AAPI community is facing discrimination and racism, and I stand in solidarity with them, especially during this pandemic.
The AAPI subcommittee stands
with you.
Solidarity.
Please reach
out to us
if you
require support.
This is Ashley and Brandon. They are my siblings. They both have special needs and have health problems that place them in a high-risk category for COVID. We come from a mixed-race family, and both of our parents have health problems, which also place them in a high-risk category. According to the CDC, nearly 26% of the American population has a disability, making people with disabilities one of the largest minority populations in the country. According to a 2016 report by the Ruderman Family Foundation, it is estimated that upwards of 50% of all people killed by the police have a disability. So, as we celebrate diversity and continue to fight for equity and inclusion amidst a worldwide pandemic, please do not forget to include people with disabilities, the multiply marginalized, and those who cannot fight for themselves.
Racial conflict continues to dominate the American domestic political agenda.
Issues of race are often centered on black and white.
However, M3 understands that other communities of color are affected by the systematic racism built into our nation's history.
For over 400 years, whiteness and white supremacy have been working to criminalize, dehumanize, and kill people of color. We have witnessed this in the recent slayings of many Black Americans.
As members of the Southern Nevada community, we are aware of the violence and racial disparities that take place day to day in our cities.
M3 stands in solidarity with all educators doing anti-racist work and those directly affected by systemic racism.
We also call on you, our alumni, students, staff, and administration to take action.
Unlearning racism is intersectional work and will look differently for other communities of color than it will for our white colleagues. In the spirit of collective action, continue to commit to the ongoing work of combating anti-Blackness in our own families, communities, and educational spaces.
The Asian Community Development Council is honored to be part of Nevada State College's second annual Diversity Celebration. An organization led by our founder and president, Vita Lin, has a mission to educate, empower, and connect the Asian American Pacific Islander community throughout the state of Nevada. It's a mission that became even more poignant given the challenges the Asian American Pacific Islander community faced in the past year. The COVID-19 pandemic brought on everything from health concerns to job and income losses to instances of racism and discrimination targeting Asian Americans. ACDC responded by working diligently to create content in multiple languages to raise awareness about how our community has been affected by this pandemic, not just here in Nevada, but across the country. In fact, ACDC amplified the voices of the Asian American Pacific Islander community year-round, from getting the community to register to vote and also fill out the census. ACDC was also the top online voter registration group in Nevada this past general election. Our voter outreach efforts meant more Asian American Pacific Islanders made a difference at the polls and got their voices heard. Our nonprofit also highlighted the accomplishments of our Asian American Pacific Islander college graduates during the graduation ceremony, which, like many of our other events, became virtual due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, ACDC also received federal funding through the CARES Act to help those affected by the pandemic. The needs of Asian American Pacific Islanders were evident as we saw long lines of cars showed up at our food distribution event at Chinatown Plaza. We partnered with Caesars Entertainment. We also collaborated with local organizations like Immunize Nevada to host drive-through free flu clinics last fall. As we enter 2021, our work is far from over. The Asian American Community Development Council hopes to continue being a resource for the Asian American Pacific Islander community. This as we opened our new headquarters at 8863 West Flamingo Road while continuing to offer direct client services at our Shanghai Plaza office at 4276 Spring Mountain Road, Suite 207 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you again to Nevada State College for being our partner and a leader in celebrating diversity and promoting a culture of inclusion.
Indeed, this past year has been especially challenging for many communities. I hope the words of our NSC colleagues and friends have been both enlightening and inspiring, but we're not done yet. Our final keynote speaker perhaps needs no introduction for most, if not all, of our Nevada State community. She was first voted into the Nevada State Senate in 2012 and continues to serve until this day. She was the co-majority whip in 2019. She served in the U.S. Army Military Police Corps from 1977 to 2007. She was a Kentucky colonel in 2004. She was a member of the 17th Congressional District Selection Committee for Military Academies from 1992 to 1996. She was president of San Marcos Consolidated Independent School District from 1991 to 1994. She was on the board of directors for the Hayes County United Way from 1990 to 1994. She was chair of the Texas Region Health and Human Services from 1984 to 1986. She holds a Doctor of Business Administration from Walden University. She holds a Bachelor's of Science from Norfolk State University, and she holds a Master of Divinity from the Seminary of the Southwest from Austin, Texas. And her list of accomplishments goes on and on. Nevada State, students, colleagues, friends, it is an honor to present to you Senator Dr. Patricia Spearman.
Hello, students, faculty, administrators, alumni, and friends. First, let me say that I consider it an honor to be asked to participate in this event, and I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I want to speak about or speak from the theme, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Worth is a value that is assigned by an individual that's trying to sell, someone who's trying to purchase or give away. Worth is fluid and can vary from person to person. In 2019, I was shopping in one of the malls and I saw a really, really bad suit. I mean, it was tough. So I walked in and I asked the salesperson, I said, how much is this? And the salesperson said, well, it's on sale now. It's only $700. Whoa, only $700. And they said, yes. So I turned right around. And as I walked out, got ready to walk out, the salesperson said, but you know, it's made of the finest Italian cloth and the buttons are hand sewn. And I'm like, okay, I get all of that. But at $700, she said, it really is a steal. So I looked at her and I said to myself, I don't spend $700 on one suit. I work hard for my money. And that to me, there's no value in $700 for one suit. So I didn't buy it. I don't really care if the buttons were hand sewn on by Yves Saint Laurent. I'm not paying $700 for one suit. So obviously in this instance, there was a difference of opinion between me and the salesperson. They thought the suit was worth the price, but I did not agree. I'm sure someone bought the suit and the advertised price or very close to it. But for me, it wasn't worth it. Is it worth it? When 2020 came in, I thought to myself, the metaphor for this year is revelation, meaning it would be a time for us to see more clearly. The dictionary definition of revelation says this: it is a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. I tend to agree with that. As the nation and the rest of the world grappled with why Black men were continually gunned down and their murderers were not held accountable, I heard people saying, wow, this is getting really bad. And my response was always, getting bad? It's been this bad for a long time. People are just now starting to pay attention. As the mother of a Black son, I have known for quite some time the danger of my son, of my brothers, of my cousins, of my friends being out at any time during the day and having an encounter with someone who has a badge on and does not deserve to wear that badge, but they have internal conflicts about the worth of human life. We also heard and we saw the disgusting xenophobic response to the COVID-19 virus when the president said, oh, it's coming from China. And he disparaged a whole community, saying that they were the progenitors of this deadly virus. We were aghast to learn that more than 600 children were separated from their families at the southern border, and the records necessary for reunification were non-existent. The devaluing or the lack of worth of these children should not have been news to us. After all, when you hear someone speak in disparaging language about a community, they are telegraphing how they feel, and they're telegraphing who they are. And as Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. The past year was revelatory. We experienced this in other ways. We saw white women in Louisville, Kentucky put their bodies between law enforcement officers and peaceful protesters to ensure the protesters' safety. We saw young people of various ethnicities, ideologies, and political persuasions join Black Lives Matter protesters, challenging systemic racism and willing to fight for the change that we need. We saw Minnesota Attorney General Ellis move swiftly to gather the facts and, where warranted, brought charges against the man who murdered George Floyd. We also saw communities setting up food pantries to share with their neighbors in time of financial crisis. We saw the resiliency of our democracy as people around the country refused to capitulate to the schemes designed to suppress our vote. Possibly one of the most stunning displays of our commitment to diversity was electing a president and the first Black and Asian woman as our next vice president. When the postal system was compromised, people made sure to get their ballots in, and they turned them in early. When polling locations were closed in several Black communities, churches, the Divine Nine, civic organizations, and others provided rides, bus rides, car rides for the people who did not have transportation. When the lines were long and many of our seasoned citizens and others who were physically challenged couldn't stand in line for 2, 3, 4, and sometimes 8 hours, people volunteered to stand in line for them until it was their turn to go in to the polling place and vote. When Miss Rona, that's what a friend of mine calls coronavirus, when Miss Rona shut down in-person learning, we came together as a community to bridge the digital divide, and we provided equity and access to the internet to so many of our Black, brown, and BIPOC communities. Yes, 2020 was a year of revelation. This year started with dramatic challenges as well. We witnessed for the first time since 1812 our capital being invaded by insurrectionists spewing the hatred and malicious intent of white supremacy. We have seen the resilience, though, of our democracy as more people decided to stand against fascism and autocracy. So in 2021, while we are in the infant stages, the question becomes for us, is it worth it? Is it worth it to continue to fight for equality and equity? Is it worth it to make sure our economic system rewards those who work hard for their money but still can't make ends meet? Is it worth it to pay attention to wealth-challenged communities and all of the things that they experience because of the poverty rate? Is it worth it to fight to deconstruct systemic racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, transphobia, and all of the made-up excuses that continue to divide us? Is it worth it to make sure that students have an opportunity to get post-secondary education and training in a way that does not compromise their financial future? Is it worth it to call out the implicit bias that exists among the medical community that caused, some would argue, the death of Dr. Susan Moore? And in one of her final video chats, she said to us, she kept telling the doctor, she is a trained physician, she kept telling the doctor what was wrong and kept telling the doctor what she felt needed to happen. And she said the doctors treated her like a drug dealer. Is it worth it to make the types of criminal justice reforms that give members of BIPOC communities the chance for equal justice under the law? Is it worth it to make sure our budgets reflect our understanding of the various ways that mental health, or lack thereof, ravages our communities? Is it worth it for us to commit to funding services that treat those who are mentally and emotionally challenged? Is it worth it for communities to work with law enforcement to change the, quote, guilty by assumption whenever they go into a Black community? Is it worth it to work on community policing that says to our law enforcement officers, come into our communities, not because you may be scared of us, but the real truth is that people in our communities are afraid of you. So come into our communities so we can begin to forge a relationship based upon human worth. These are all the questions that require serious conversations and, quite frankly, clear eyes about the cause and effect of racism. And the racism that has been a cancer in our country, even before 1619, but was manifested when the first ship carrying human cargo came to our shores, and it was okay to put people of a different ethnicity, different color, into continuous servitude. Was it worth it for us not to address the fact that slavery, although outlawed by the Emancipation Proclamation, there were things about slavery that continued to run rampant in the undercurrent of our country, where people having polite conversations would not even address it? We have to be clear-eyed about this. We have to be clear-eyed about the cause and effect of racism and what it has done to our history, to perpetuation of a system that devalues humanity, robs people of their dignity, their future, and in many cases, even their lives. I'm sure you've heard people say hindsight is 20/20 vision. So let's start there. Last year, a highly infectious and deadly virus caused many of us to alter the way we live. It also caused us to think about a different way of dying. The coronavirus, or Miss Rona, as I said, my friend gave that name, in 2020 played a very prominent part of our lives. However, that was not the only thing that shaped last year. Job loss, deep divisions in our country, the unapologetic and brazen display of hate by those who would consider themselves a superior race. When I was 7, I learned how dangerous it could be for a colored girl to drink from a water fountain labeled whites only. It was just a few years after the death of Emmett Till, the murder of Emmett Till. And as I prepare to drink from a water fountain, I'm 7, I don't really understand this whole thing about segregation. As I prepare to drink from that water fountain, my mother grabbed me in the back of my collar and yanked me up so fast that I almost hit my mouth on the apparatus. And she was yelling and screaming at me. We're in the bus station in Nashville, Tennessee. She said to me, "You can't drink out of that water fountain. Do you want to get killed?" I didn't understand why she was so upset. It's water. It's a water fountain. I was drinking out of that one because I saw a gentleman earlier walk past the other water fountain and spit in it. And my mother explained to me, in the South, when you see for whites only, that doesn't include you. Being part of the first Black students to integrate a high school in Alabama showed me how calcified the anti-Reconstruction culture in the South had become. We endured taunts. We endured being called the N-word. We endured people trying to pick fight with us. We endured even teachers when they were teaching about Alabama history. We endured them purposefully saying, instead of Negro, we endured them saying the Negras. As one of the first 7 women to receive a direct commission into the military police corps, I experienced overt racism and sexism. In fact, when I reported to one of my duty stations the first day, my commanding officer asked me, and I quote, "How did a Black gal like you get to major?" That will be the last promotion in your career. I've experienced religious bigotry directed at my affectional orientation. I've seen and experienced so many of the negative vicissitudes born of the ism structure in our country. But I've also experienced the very best attitudes for those who are determined not to let injustice win. those who accept me, and others that look like me, and others who have a different heritage, and others whose grandparents speak a different language, and others who are at various levels of the socioeconomic strata. I have experienced the goodness in people's hearts as they committed to honoring the gift of God's diverse creation. I've experienced the satisfaction of joining other social justice warriors to fight for positive change. My brothers and sisters, although it looks dark in our country now, I have hope. I have hope. In the words of one of the songs that we have sung in the Black church, I've seen the lightning flashing and I've heard the thunder rolling. But here's one thing that I am sure: God's truth will march on. If we're willing to learn from our real history as a country, if we're willing to apply 2020 vision to ourselves, our communities, and the part that we have played, either by design or default, in what happened at the Capitol, the United States Capitol, on January 6, 2021. If we are willing to take a hard look at the things that we need to do to make sure it never, ever happens again. If we're willing to hold each other accountable for creating a more inclusive and equitable world, then and only then will we see the paradigm shift and movement to a promised land of diversity. I'm sure you can listen to many of Dr. King's speeches, and on various occasions, Dr. King quoted the words of the Old Testament prophet Amos. And Amos said, "Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream." We have work to do. We have work to do. And unlike the $700 suit that was in the store, I think our commitment to that work is worth it. So to the question in 2021, is it worth it? I say unequivocally, yes. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this great country. And God bless and protect our troops. Thank you.
Senator Spearman, thank you for continuing to fight for justice, equality, and equity. Your drive and purpose is inspiring. I have seen the strength of your grassroots efforts that are focused on recognizing each person's human worth, and our community is better for it. You pose the question, is it worth it? As we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King and prepare for a new semester, I can say without a doubt, it is worth it. At Nevada State College, we are ready to take on the work it takes to stand by our values and fulfill our mission, which includes advancing the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you for joining us. This concludes our annual diversity celebration.